Monday, March 1st, 2021. It's the final hour on Afternoons Lalate. America starts to reopen across the country. And as it starts to reopen, the president could sign your $1,400 third stimulus check bill into law within days. But today, Senator Elizabeth Warren introduced a bill that could set up funding for an increase for SSI, SSDI, and more. How will it work? And what was Wall Street's reaction to the incredible news today? This is the final hour of a big, massive news recording of Afternoons Lalate. Good afternoon. Wall Street is closed with major changes. The bond market settled down. Stocks rallied. Dow up 600 points. NASDAQ up substantially. After this individual, Elizabeth Warren, introduced a bill to the Senate, that's the wishes you had hoped for, that could impact your SSI, SSDI, Social Security, and railroad benefits across the board. Meantime, the President of the United States has urged for this event to occur, the signing of your third stimulus check bill this week. What's happening? We have all the big details. Thank you for joining me on Afternoons Lalate. How are you? Boy, a lot of big, great news. This is the next to last show on this channel live today. After this is Purple. Money right now, not 5 days from now, $5,000, $10,000, $15,000. Purple comes up right after this in 30 minutes. And then I'm back with a tape recording tonight of Hazard Pay at 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, 10 o'clock on the Eastern Coast. But this recording has updates about your stimulus check. Thank you, John Hisuenas. Thank you for the SSDI segment. Yes, that's this show right now. I have updates about your $14 stimulus check, updates about SSI and SSDI, updates about routing times, the markets. Wow, I'm really excited. Are you excited? Who has my bacon for me? All right, let's get to the details. First, let's go over the check. The $1,400 third stimulus check will be called for a vote as early as tomorrow, Tuesday, in the Senate, after the president overnight told Chuck Schumer and leaders of the Senate, stop playing games, take out the $15 minimum wage. He'll remove, the majority leader will remove the $50 minimum wage by amendment, and that's it. The Senate has been given clear instructions not to do anything else. Just remove that provision. Why? Because they got 50 Democratic senators who all support the bill that they have pulled when they remove the $15 minimum wage. It then passes the Senate, it goes back to the House, and will pass the House the same day the Senate approves it, and could land on the president's table and get signed, so that this is your visual this week. This is huge, huge, great news. Let's go over that again slower. Your $1,400 third stimulus check bill vote in the Senate will be an amendment to take out the $15 minimum wage. When is that vote? It could be as early as tomorrow. When would the bill become law? That could also be as early as tomorrow. They can do the House, Senate, and the President signing all in 24 hours. How soon could you get the check after that? Janet Yellen's task is to do what Steve Mnuchin did, 3 days. He got it going out 3 days after it was signed into law, the second stimulus. That could mean by the end of this week, Janet Yellen, your Treasury Secretary, could deliver to some viewers electronically as early as the end of this week your $1,400 third stimulus check. Now understand that some viewers under the second stimulus check got it the first day that Steve Mnuchin sent it out. They got it electronically the first day. Some got it the next day, some got it 2 days later, some got it 3 days later, some got it a little bit longer. But the first viewers could get it within 24 hours after Janet Yellen sends it out, which would be 3 days after it becomes law. When would it become law? As early as possibly tomorrow. That's the first huge great news. This came after the president had meetings over the weekend and said, cut it out. Cut it out. Stop doing what you're doing, which is talking about all this stuff and modifying. I don't want this. I want this bill done. And the video right before this, we went over street and stimulus. Here's Wall Street. We went over street and stimulus and how the president has ready a fourth stimulus package to go include a stimulus check. He wants this third one out. Jerome Powell, head of the Federal Reserve, wants these stimulus packages to go out quicker rather than later. That was the big news. And then I got more for you. Oh boy, you ready? Are you ready? I see Tina in the room and Balua, and there's Teresa, and there's Alicia, and there's Alma. Come on, like and share. Oh yeah, I haven't said that yet in this video. Let me say that right now. Come back to me. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you subscribe. This is the most comprehensive channel you will find anywhere, from SSI, SSDI to Bitcoin, from business grants for the stimulus to the bond market. I have anything and everything that you want to learn about and know about in this channel that impacts you so you're financially stable and going forward in a big positive way in 2021. It's a great family where people help each other across this country, where people are really helping one another on this channel. Volunteers are helping people. People are jumping in the chats. It's a family-oriented channel. There's John. Hello, John Thompson. There's Crayola King. There's Lynn, there's Margaret Owens, and there's Linda, and there's Alicia, there's Frida, there's John Azuenas, and there's Alma Menard, and there's John, and there is Tavia Theogodis, and there's Bobby Hughes from North Carolina, there's Alma Menard. This is the family you want to be part of. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, like this video, and consider becoming a member. Members have access to the PDF of the bill and have documents before everyone else. And then there's this. Elizabeth Warren. Oh boy, can we breathe for a second? This is exciting news. This is really exciting news. Hey, Chris from Knoxville, Tennessee. What a great city. There's Bobby from North Carolina. There's Sunny Rose and Ann McKinney. And there's Mary and Elizabeth. And I'm farming crayons, says Crayola King. Are you ready for the big news from Elizabeth Warren? Here's the big news. She introduced a bill today, Elizabeth Warren, Democrat from Massachusetts, a bill today that would generate close to $3 trillion of tax revenue to pay for programs which she campaigned for on the presidential trail. This tax plan she also introduced during the presidential trail. This is the news you wanted. This is the news you wanted. Manuel Valdez, thank you for the super chat. What's going on here? She introduced a bill to the Senate today which would pay for social programs which she talked about on the campaign trail that include SSI and SSDI, Social Security and Railroad benefits, $2,400, $200 a month. This is huge. First, let me tell you what the bill says, and then let me explain to you what's going on. This is just absolutely jaw-dropping. She introduced a bill today which would create a wealth tax. It would apply a 2% tax on individuals whose net worth is above $50 million. That's 50. And then it would add an additional 1% tax for people whose net worth is over $1 billion. Pretty straightforward, very not complicated. It would generate $2.7 trillion in tax revenue for the government over 10 years. A wealth tax is popular, she said. Now, what is that money for? And where have we heard this before? This is where it gets really huge. During the campaign trail, she talked about a series of programs she wanted to launch as she was president. Among them were the SSI, SSDI, Social Security, Railroad Benefits item. She introduced that as a bill in March of 2020. She campaigned for the $2,400 of SSDI. She also had other social programs she announced during the presidential bid. And then they asked her, where are you going to get this money for these things, Senator Warren? Where are you going to get the money to pay for SSI and SSDI? We don't have money. The Social Security system's running out of money. Where are you going to get that? She said, I'll show you. I'll show you. I'll show you. Give it time. She had already introduced the bill to the Senate of SSDI. She said, I'll show you where I'll get the money from. And then she talked about this on the campaign trail. She said, I'm going to tax the wealthy with a 2% tax or 1% tax to pay for this. This is huge. She's basically doing one of the steps she said she was going to do to fund the programs she wanted to fund. There's no money particularly necessarily sitting around for the $2,400 of SSDI. They could take it from the Social Security Administration. They may not get the authorization because the Social Administration is struggling with money. Here she's generating $2.75 trillion, nearly $3 trillion for the federal government for programs like you've asked. This is the biggest, boldest, most comprehensive, most logical news that we've heard about anything for funding money that would ultimately could be used for SSNI and SSDI since November. Today on this channel, this is where you're hearing it. Now, I got to tell you, this news, looking for something to hold up, this news was not front page news. It was not front page news. It wasn't even second page news. It wasn't even third page news. It was buried news. I found it. I found it because this channel is about helping each other, whether you're from the Midwest or the East Coast, whether you're from Knoxville or Decatur, from across the country. I've been fighting for people for these things, whether you're on SSI or SSDI. There's Dorothy and there's Abby in the room, and there's Connie and there's Tanya. Across this country, people are struggling. They're trying to get back to normal. We're reopening. The vaccination numbers are improving. But we need this money. And this is where the push makes sense. It's a big day with a lot of stuff happening. Wall Street had stimulus euphoria today. Wall Street was up because of excitement about stimulus, excitement about vaccines, and excitement about easing of the treasury markets that have been on fire. The president met over the weekend, said VP Harris will only give you that deciding vote, the 51st vote, when we're getting these things done quickly. I want to sign this bill quickly by the end of this week, the president said. Get it done quickly. This is huge, huge, incredible news. There's Alpertrice. There's Abby. There's Kathy. And there's Jenny from Panama City. I like the video. Just had 265 likes. I can't see how many likes because I'm on camera. But boy, if you've not subscribed, this is the day to subscribe to this channel. You see how much is happening in just a short period of time. Now, what are the remaining provisions of the third stimulus package? There is $3,600 of your child that's 5 to newborn, plus a $1,400 stimulus check. $5,000. Incredible, great news. There is 17. If you're 17 to 6, there's $3,000 stimulus check plus $1,400 stimulus check. How do those two checks pay? The $1,400 stimulus check would come with the parents' check, and then the parents would get these checks for these other items starting in the month of July. $3,600 would pay $300 a month starting in the month of July for 12 months. And then that $3,000 check per child would pay $250 starting in the month of July for 12 months. Incredible. There's $1,500 for hazard pay if you worked during the pandemic, made less than $25,000, single individual. There's money for rent, utilities, food, internet, homeless money, middle class rent, mortgage assistance, money for mortgage payments as well. There's a lot of great stuff in here. But the big message, in addition to everything else I've covered in this video, the other big message is there's up to $5,000 at least for almost all the viewers of this channel who make less than $49,000 in the third stimulus check package for you, in addition to the $1,400 stimulus check. Yes, if you make less than $49,000, there's about there's the $1,400 stimulus check and about $5,000 on top of that. Lisa, thank you for all the hard work from Amaroq County, Maine. Oh, Maine's such a wonderful county. And there's Fimas from Cassia from Phoenix. Love you back in Wisconsin. I have so much details for you. I want you to know how, when, and where I'm around. I think people got used to the new schedule today. Here's a little commercial bumper that tells you when our shows are on this channel and also tells you about the community page. I'm back with you in about 50 seconds. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LA Daily for the excitement of the new LA live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LA at 9 a.m. Home LA returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LA at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LA Late.
From Wall Street to Main Street, this is LA Late.
So yeah, there's a lot of excitement across the board. The excitement is here. I see the excitement. LA, is the student loan forgiveness still going to happen? It is a standalone bill, $50,000 in the Senate. It's a standalone bill, Martha. Great question. That standalone bill is $50,000. President wants to do $10,000. There's a lot of standalone bills in the Senate. What the Chuck, our midday show goes over all those standalone bills. So much exciting, great stuff across the board today. I'm really excited for you. There is so much that's happening here, and among the items that you need to know is this excitement that's coming from Elizabeth Warren. And that excitement starts with this bill today that would provide $2.75 trillion to the federal government to pay for programs across the board. And those programs would likely include SSI, SSDI, Social Security, and railroad benefits. Anything for workers' compensation. Not just yet, but this is where the excitement unfolds. The president had wanted this bill to be on his table this week. He had meetings throughout the weekend. He was traveling all across the country, and in those meetings, he said that he wanted the bill done right away. He wants to sign the bill this week, and he had urged Senator Schumer not to do any other amendments but to take the $15 minimum wage out. That $15 minimum wage, the removal will cause all Democrats to support the bill, and the support for that bill would call it for a vote to get it passed right away. Wow. So we could see this bill call for a vote as early as tomorrow and become law as early as tomorrow, but it could maybe takes a few more days, but as early as tomorrow, and the money land in some of your bank accounts as early as later this week. This is huge news. Now, what else is in the third stimulus package, and when else would you get it? Well, the EIDL grant is in there, and that's the next fastest item. It pays $5,000, and it has a provision in there that requires it to be paid within about 14 days after you apply, or after the program goes live. So there is a very required turnaround time for that. PUA, FPUC, PEUA, wait, did I just, PEUA? PEUC. Was continue from March to August. FPUC is $400 a month from March to August. And that is automatic. You just want to continue to certify for benefits. You would not lapse for a week the way they're setting it up at the moment. But beyond that, you would have a gap. You would have a gap about your money. Because there would not be another check, per se, landing in your bank account in the next days after the stimulus check. Cutting back again, you get the stimulus check, and then when would be the next check? If it's not EIDL, there'd be a little bit of delay. So that's why I want you to tune in for the video right after this purple, because the other checks that amount to about $5,000 in that third stimulus package for you, rent, utilities, food, internet, not coming right away in the third stimulus package, but I can get it to you right now. $5,000, $10,000, $15,000. So what else is in the third stimulus package? There is $1,400 a week paid sick leave. You have to stay home because of the pandemic for you or the child. The child has to stay home because of the pandemic, because the school's closed. There is also a grant to go start a new business, innovation grant. There's up to a $5 million grant for every restaurant location. $1,700 financial aid for college students, and all these things are plus the $1,400 stimulus check. A lot of great stuff in there. And the great stuff started with this news from Elizabeth Warren. More about her remarks today. She said that she can get this bill passed. A wealth tax is popular among voters on both sides for good reason, because they understand the system is rigged to benefit the wealthy and large corporations. As Congress develops additional plans to help our economy, the wealth tax should be on top of the list to help pay for these plans because of the huge amount of revenue it would generate. She also said that this needs to be done right now. She is confident that lawmakers will catch up to the overwhelming majority of Americans who are demanding more fairness, more change, and believe it's time for a wealth tax. The Federal Reserve has not spoken about the matter, but he wants more economic disbursements. He wants more people he wants broad stroke economic recovery. He doesn't just want rich people recovering. That's the K-shaped recovery. This is Jerome Powell you're looking at. Thank you. Keep up the good work. You're awesome, LA. Thank you, Saint. And there's Crayola King, and there's Lisa, and there's Connie, and there's Hollywood. How much for the hazard pay? $1,500. Me, a student, says Sherry. Sonia, how much for the hazard pay? $1,500 as his earned income tax credit. So there you go. Hey, LA. There's Cammie. How are you? What a day it is. What a day it is. Wall Street had a lot of stimulus excitement. Bond market went flat after going negative initially, easing. Securities improved. Securities went substantially higher. Dow up 600, NASDAQ up about 3-4%, depending on the securities. And this was after there were concerns whether the Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell here, would have to step in and do something to calm the markets. Now he doesn't have to do it. There's Dean. How are you? And there's W. Soup. And there's Crystal. And there's Crayola King. And there's Brandy Nickel. How are you? I got it busy. Keep up the good work, says Tonia. Well, I appreciate that, Tonia. $1,700 of additional financial aid, says Mago. Yes. If you've not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you subscribe. I mean, this is a channel you want to subscribe to. Like this video. It's important in a given day that you don't miss any information, that you get comprehensive information. There is so much hitting across the board. That's why I'm with you from 9 a.m. to 3 o'clock every day with shows, 2 hours on mornings at Lalate, 2 hours on noontime, and 2 hours on afternoons at Lalate. But the incredible news across the board is that if you're just joining me is the following. The $1,400 third stimulus check bill will be called for a vote as early as tomorrow. The amendment is very straightforward. Remove the $15 minimum wage. That's it. Nothing else. Call it for a vote. Send it back to the Senate. It should be sent back to the House and then off to the President. Get into law. That's item number one. The second shocker today was Elizabeth Warren's bill, which that Elizabeth Warren bill would provide $2.75 trillion of tax revenue from a wealth tax. This is a standalone bill she introduced to the Senate today. And that wealth tax could fund things like the $2,400 of SSDI. This is what she talked about on the campaign trail. Margaret, thank you for all you do for us, LA. I appreciate that. And there's Cassandra and Gail, and there's Bishop, and there's Dennis. Hey, Lori. So many details across the board. It's been a big day. But guess what? There's one last thing. There's one last thing. Oh, there's Choksan. Everyone welcome Choksan for probably the purple power. Everyone welcome Choksan. There's one last thing. $5, $10, $15, $20,000 money right now, not 5 days from now, not 5 weeks from now. Money right now. It's purple. It's back right after this recording. It's the final show of the day. It's on mornings and it's on afternoons. I want you to get that money now because the stimulus check is one item, but you need these other items as well. You need this rent, utilities, and food because the stimulus check's going to land. And then there's going to be a little bit of wait until you get the next thing under the third stimulus package. Don't want you to wait. I want you to get purple. So join me right after this for the final show of the day live. Of course, I'm back with you at Hazard Pay tonight. The final show of the day on live with purple on afternoons at Lalate.